Yeah, I still have this fucking little pimple thing right here that's on its period. Just fucking get it off! What? No, but, ow, that actually really fucking hurt. Okay. Shit, that actually really hurt. That kind of reminded me of, like, in those pornos where, just the fucking beluga whales, man. Those fucking just huge-ass black chicks where you have, like, a white dude who just cups his hand and just spanks it, like, just all his fucking force in the galaxy, just spanks it, and then you just see the fat, like, wrinkles and, like, the fat, like, flaps just bouncing up and down, like, fuck, I don't even know, man. You're like, Jesus, that's, like mystical, even though it's fucking weird, and I'm totally not gonna jerk off to that. That's just really fucking weird. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna talk about Dauntless. 50 seconds in, I'm already making porn jokes. That's what we do here on this channel. Don't like it, get the fuck off my goddamn YouTube channel. Talking about Dauntless here. Let's go over the basics real quick. It's a free-to-play game. There is direct purchases. I believe there is no really random elements to the game. There might be, I mean, there kind of is with the cores and the Elite Pass, but not really. So there isn't like really like traditional loot boxes, at least. Direct purchases, there's lots of things to purchase too. And there is a battle pass called the Hunt Pass. It is structured very similar to Fortnite. And a lot of the elements to it is very, very cool. And there's transmog, which is fucking awesome. I'm pissed on how more games don't implement transmog, because transmog is super fucking cool. And I love it and makes me fucking hard. Yeah, transmog is just sick as fuck. There's all sorts of different like paying stuff to this game, but the Elite Pass is probably the best option to go with. It's only $10, and if you're playing the game a lot, you know, you're just going to be doing a lot of stuff there. And it's a completely free-to-play game, so it honestly pisses me off when people say, oh, you have nothing to lose when you play this game. You have time to lose. So the only thing you have to lose when playing this game is your time. But if you're having fun, that's time not wasted, in my opinion. Unless if you're like, I don't know, like smoking like or doing like meth or some shit, then that is time wasted, and you're wasting your life, and you're gonna die like a fucking retard. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of just the basics real quick out of the way, because I recorded this video before and I mentioned at the very end of the video. So what do I like about this game? Well, actually, let me go and talk about this. About a few days after Monster Hunter World came out, I bought it and really tried to get into it. I put 25 hours into the game. I just could not get into the game. I did appreciate some of the core elements of the game, but the things I didn't like was the combat. I didn't like the monsters because they were very unpredictable from what I played with. But Dauntless really sells me. With like it really is just a fantastic game. Honestly, like already I put 10 hours into the game, and about 10 hours, maybe 11, 12 hours, but I absolutely love it. I did do like 3 parts of a playthrough. I don't think I'm going to bother continuing because it has like no views and no one really obviously wants to watch it, so fuck it. But you know, yeah, it's really like new player friendly. There's you know a good amount of tutorials with it. You kind of pick things up pretty easily. It's really easy to like pick up kind of game. It's probably hard to master though. And you know, basically the gameplay loop of this game is to go around, kill monsters, collect their, you know, parts, go back to Ramsgate, which is like, if you play Destiny, it's like the tower or just like the social space or whatever. You go back there and you go over to, you know, armor, you know, the smithies, and you craft your weapons and armor. And then there's some other stuff too you can craft with those parts, I believe, as well. And then you take that and upgrade it and go back and do that boss again to upgrade your armor, and then take it into a harder boss or whatever. That's just the general gameplay loop of the game. It's a very similar to like a looter shooter or like a looter kind of game, but then it also has that Monster Hunter elements of it, where you hunt a behemoth. This game is very similar to Monster Hunter, but it does a lot of things better, in my opinion. No longer do you have to go and track that animal for like fucking 10 minutes to find it. Now it's just you kind of look around a little bit, but it never took me more than like 5 minutes to find the behemoth. And your teammates can throw up flares too, and you can see them on your compass. So when your teammate throws up a flare, that kind of usually, unless if it's a fucking dumbass piece of shit troll, signals that the behemoth is right here. Come over to me and fight it, which is very, very nice. For the most, and there's also like different kind of flares you can get too, and there's tons of, like I said, tons of stuff to purchase. So there is a few types of weapons in this game, and that's my biggest complaint. There's not enough types of weapons, and also not even close to the amount of types of range weapons they have in this game. There's 3 different types of range weapons in Monster Hunter, and there isn't that much in this or Monster Hunter World. And there isn't that much here. So basically, the weapon types we have is the sword, easily the easiest melee weapon to use. The axe, the hammer, which I have not used, and the spike, which I have not used yet. I think it's called the spike. And you have the chain blades, which are probably the hardest weapon to use in the game. Just because you swing so fast, and it seems really enticing at first because you're swinging so fast and shit like that, especially like the hack and slash combat style. It's just like super fun to do that. However, there is no animation canceling in this game. It's whenever you face the behemoth, it really revolves around dodging their attacks. There is no blocking or anything. You're dodging their attacks in order to stay alive. And there is no animation canceling. So the chain blades, whenever you like spam square or whatever, you are committed into that animation. So if he does slam on you, you're fucked. You're going to get damaged. So it is a very hard weapon to use. Unless if you know the bosses, pretty much almost perfectly, you don't want to use that. That's what I'm saying. And then there is the repeaters, which are like revolvers, which is the only ranged weapon in the game, traditional ranged weapon at least. I'm not sure about the spike. That might be ranged somehow. It's probably the most fun and easiest weapon type to use in the game. It is very easy to face bosses with this. Dodging around and stuff because you're farther away. You have more time to anticipate the attacks. There is no like the stomping whenever you're meleeing. Some bosses like stomp with one of their legs. So there is none of that, at least from what I faced. And yeah, it's super fun. Those weapons are super fun. They have they have like 2 different kind of abilities and stuff like that. And then you also have your lamp ability too. And there's tons of different really cool armor sets in this game. Like I said, you also do have transmog. And if you're wearing a fire armor set and you don't like the look of it, you can use transmog stones, which you get from the paid elite pass, or you can buy them to transmog to a different type of look of armor. So if you like the frost armor better, you could put the frost armor transmog onto the fire armor, which is super cool. And like I said, you could buy them or you can earn them with the elite pass. Well, technically you're buying and then earning it. So you get what I'm saying. And yeah, I just love how streamlined this game is. There's like different, kind of mod elements where you upgrade your weapons and stuff like that. Other than like increasing its power, you can give it, like on your helmet, for instance, you can increase your health. And there's all sorts of different like bonuses, like each different type of like weapon. So if you get like a fire weapon, it has like a specific bonus on there that's different than like a frost weapon. At least for like a fire to frost sword, it's just different. For the frost sword, it has a different base, +1 stat or whatever than the fire one, which is super cool. There's tons of depth to this game, but it isn't like way too much. It isn't like super overwhelming. And yeah, everything's, easy to navigate. The interface is great. And yeah, there's a good amount of like challenges, and there's a weekly challenge for the Elite Pass, or there's multiple weekly challenges for the Elite Pass owners, which is great. And Elite Pass owners do get bonus loot, so keep that in mind. And there is 3 ways to earn the Elite Pass reputation or experience. You can break behemoth parts, which is a thing, going for tails, legs, just kind of like armor pieces in a way, or kind of like armor pieces, yeah. I mean, they're not really, but kind of. And collecting Ramsgate. Did I already say the weekly challenges? I think I said the weekly challenges. Yeah, the weekly challenges give you, for the Elite Pass, they give you rep for that. And I see my cat taking his shit right in front of me. Do you seriously have to do that, you fucking piece of shit? And then you run around Ramsgate and then get the death marks, which is super cool as well. Actually, not really. It's kind of boring, that part. And I think it's a daily thing. I could be wrong. I'm not sure when the resets are. But it's probably like, every Tuesday, and then daily resets every day. Probably. Anyway, yeah, I think that's probably going to cover it. I love this game so far. There's, like I said, I love the streamlined elements to it, how simple it is, how fun it is. I like the combat more. I like how things are more straight to the point, straight to the monster. There's not any of that tracking stuff. The islands aren't like overly huge. And yeah, I love that about this. They do retreat, but they don't retreat like multiple fucking times like they do in Monster Hunter, and it just gets really annoying after that. It eliminates some of the annoyances that I really didn't like about Monster Hunter and makes them even better with the combat. The combat, like I said, is a lot more fun. And yeah, that's going to cover it. This game is fucking amazing so far. Like I said, I put about 10 hours into it, maybe 11, 12-ish. But yeah, peace. Ah!